Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our evening edition of Big Brother 22 All-Stars live feed spoilers. We are at the end of day 7, or at least the end for these updates for the day. And there is a lot to talk about here because earlier, Nicole Anthony and Janelle had a conversation, and I like to make it out to be like one of these big summits that happen between world leaders, and you're just like, all right, let's see you guys work together. Let's find a way to make it happen. But in this case, I'm not feeling too great about it at this very second.
I was so hopeful earlier that if they could just maybe have another one, keep these secrets to themselves, that this was going to work out. Things are not working out.
We cannot have nice things in 2020. Like, that is the real lesson that is here. Okay, I will say this. I don't think we are in a state of disrepair yet with this, but it is you're going along a rocky bridge that may sort of fall apart at any given moment. So we'll talk everything through based on what we know and the state of the vote and a whole lot more. But before we do, if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and support us further. Check those links to the store. I've got one of the shirts on right now, and also our Patreon where you can have live chats last Sunday of every month.
Okay, so there was a lot of us when we heard that Danny and Janelle were going to be on the season together that felt like, yes, and maybe they're going to work together. And so they actually had a talk tonight. Or today. Well, I guess it's tonight now.
Yeah.
But it was great to see because it feels like there is some trust there, because Danny told Janelle that people are leaning towards Kevin. So, and that is true. So they are sharing a little information that's true. The dream is not dead yet, guys.
The dream of it's so weird because it is like if you said preseason Danny and Janelle would work together, it would be like this, yeah, and the entire BB fandom, I feel like, or at least like 90% of them would be like running down the street, you know, just screaming the jubilation. But it is sort of now this weird situation where Danny's working with a lot of people that not everyone in the fandom likes, and they're talking now about Keisha being evicted and Kevin staying around, and then it's sort of like, I don't know how we should feel about this anymore.
But it might end, I mean, we don't know, of course, yet who's going to be HOH next week. Janelle does win lots of stuff, so maybe this would, if she just wins next week, this is a way to maybe bring some of these people over, where then she can just really solidify what's going on with Danny. And I know she is working with Nicole F right now, but Danny feels like somebody who can move.
I think Danny's gonna probably be a little bit flexible. I think she and Janelle have known each other a long time. I think that history probably goes somewhere, and like you said, there's a little trust there because Danny telling Janelle that people are kind of leaning towards Kevin staying in the game, that's important given that Janelle has been trying to rally for Keisha, and maybe she can sort of read that as, okay, it's a little bit of a lost cause. But the good news for all of you Janelle and Nicole I don't know, hopers, believers, anyone who wants to think that this could happen, is there is a conversation about future nominees that comes up, and yeah, Danny throws out Nicole A's name as sort of one possibility, and Janelle sort of deflects her off of that and sort of talks about how she might be wanting to sort of look at potentially bigger players. And so it's not like a full Janelle and Nicole Anthony have a named alliance and they're going to the final 2 or anything, but it feels like Janelle thinks that Nicole Anthony is someone who has at least some value to her. There is hope that might be dashed later on in this video, but there's a little hope right now.
Yeah, and I mean, I had felt that as long as Janelle and Nicole Anthony kept their conversations to themselves just until their next sort of meetup or, you know, strategy talk, that this really could have been a good step in building trust with each other here. And then we had this sort of scene here where we had Janelle and Anthony and Nicole Anthony, where Janelle was doing Nicole's makeup, which is, you know, of course a bonding thing with women, and it's fun and you get to just kind of relax a little bit. And Jill was using some really nice makeup on her. She was using Tom Ford, and Tom Ford is not cheap. It's like $88 for a foundation stick.
Okay, here's the thing. This is I really want to be working with you sort of deal. I do.
Yeah.
This would be like, I don't know makeup very well, so I have to use the only comparison that I have. This would be like me as a diehard Mountain Dew fan, which probably isn't good, but this is like me finding a rare bottle of Mountain Dew Pitch Black, which they're not really out here in California, and then like offering to give half of it to someone. This is a very important gesture. This is Tom Ford. Nicole, this is good. She believes in you. She's taking the time to do your makeup. Even Nicole was sitting there being like, Janelle's doing my makeup, like it was like the most surprising and wonderful thing.
It is a really nice thing. I think when you're doing something like that with each other, makeup, hair, kind of just being fun and just having a fun time. I mean, it does sort of loosen things up a little bit. So they had this important conversation earlier, then Janelle's kind of trying to relax with her a little bit. Hey, let me do your makeup. Cool. I thought we were on the road to something beautiful. And here we are. At the end of the road. Yeah.
This is okay, this is all right.
Here we go. Let's just get it, rip the Band-Aid off.
Nicole Anthony basically had a conversation with Davon and sold out a lot of the conversation with Janelle, and it's just sort of like, okay.
Why,
I know she didn't repeat the conversation verbatim or anything, but she talked a lot about Janelle and sort of her sort of thinking a little bit about wanting to keep Keisha, and it's just, she spilled a lot more information to Davon than Janelle really did in a conversation with Danny. And I know that Nicole Anthony, like Janelle seems to view Kaysar as kind of her number one. And I think Nicole Anthony views this group with like Davon and Kevin and Bailey, like that she's closer to them than just about anyone. So of course you would want to tell them things. But two things. Why do it right now? And number two, why not just sort of, well, I guess these are actually just kind of one thing, but oh yeah, why do it right now? But then also, I almost forgot my second thing. Can you 100% trust that whether it's Davon or Kevin or anyone else, and I know she just told just Davon, but can you really trust that they're not going to go and run this to other people at this point?
No, she can't. And I mean, this conversation that she had with Janelle, she just had it. Like, it happened today. And it was so fast that she sold her out. And I was honestly really surprised. I thought at the very least she would hold on to this information until after she finds out who's left, who the next HOH is. She didn't need to do this right now. She is in no danger right now until she knows who the next HOH is. And if she needed to use that information, then she could have. But right now, she just didn't need to do this. And I'm still a bit boggled by why. What was really the benefit of doing this? Because you just don't know what Davon is going to do with this information. But you do know that you're still bonding with Janelle. She's doing your makeup. You guys are having talks. Like, there's been a lot of bonding with her today. So I was really disappointed to see that happen, honestly.
Here's the moral of the story. Sometimes on Big Brother, it might be better to just play once if you want to be universally well-loved, because you cannot anticipate what the fandom wants you to do in the house. I know people are turning on fan favorite Nicole Anthony today.
Yeah, I saw that. It's crazy.
And I still like Nicole Anthony a lot as a person. She seems very, very kind, and I want to root for her. And she's just frustrating me today because it is sort of like there's this opportunity that is there, and she's not seeing things fully. And I know it's so much easier for us on the outside with the live feeds and our ability to be like, well, this is happening on that feed, that is happening on that feed, but still, just hold some information back. It's okay.
This is Big Brother. Information is power in this house. It is in life. It is really in this house.
Yeah.
So I was very surprised that she decided to give up this information with really not a lot in return. I mean, she didn't need to do it. There was nothing that was saving her. I don't know why she did this. I don't know. I'm clueless. Maybe she'll clue us all in with a talk tonight on why she decided to sell her out. But anyways, Kevin ends up joining in on this conversation with Nicole Anthony and Davon. And then Kevin put something really weird out there where he's like, oh, I want to work with, Danny and Bailey and you guys. And Nicole F., which was super strange. I mean, Kevin is clearly clueless to everything that's going on. If he thinks that Nicole Anthony and Nicole Franzel want to work together in any capacity.
I think Kevin is just like, it feels like he's been concentrating so hard on his campaign that maybe he's not seeing all the forest for the trees. I think a part of the problem here, and I understand this from Kevin's perspective, is that maybe he's just sort of running on, okay, these are people who, you know, they say that they want to keep me, that they want to work with me, but just because they want to keep you now, I don't mean this in a cynical way, but that doesn't mean that they really are rooting for you to go far into the game. It doesn't really mean even that they like you. It just means that they like you a little bit better right now. You may just be a means to their end, and I think he's getting kind of caught up in that, and I know Kevin has that cutthroat side. Kevin, I can loan you some devil horns if you need them to get that wickedness going.
I'm just feeling like there are a few players like Nicole Anthony and Kevin that are just feeling really lost, like really lost, a lot more than I thought in this game. Coming into All-Stars, I mean, last season, Nicole Anthony was a lot more sort of intuitive. She wasn't always able to have the confidence to make the moves that she needed to make. Kevin was really intuitive when he played last time, and he was really fluent, able to like adapt and move into all these different ways. And like the two of them, I don't know what is going on with them right now. I don't know if they're intimidated by having a lot of other legends on, or they just kind of don't know where they fit in, or because there is like this sort of super alliance going on. I mean, Nicole Anthony doesn't seem to even know who that is. She thought earlier that it was Janelle was part of the super alliance. It's very frustrating to watch.
The funniest thing is we're all so like frustrated and flabbergasted now. On most seasons, it's kind of like around now when we would actually start getting the first live feed. So just imagine what we're going to be like in 3 weeks, where we're all just going to be like, ah, and we won't even be able to do coherent sentences anymore. We'll just be sitting here going, ah, for like 15 minutes.
No, we won't. Please still tune in.
Okay, well, let's get into the Millionaire Club meeting that happened, or the Million Club. See, this is the problem with this name. I never actually know what it is.
They're the Millionaire Club here.
They might as well be.
They might as well be. I keep calling them that too.
Yeah, so they're talking, and this is Ian and Nicole F, for those who don't know, about sort of what they want to do moving forward. I think they both have felt a little bit threatened, so I think they both want to try to win the next HOH. We know that Ian is kind of playing this sort of reasonably low-key game right now, where he's not committing to a lot of things, but not a lot of people are really trusting him. The most interesting part of this combo, though, was they debated the pros and cons of if one of them wins the safety suite, giving the other one the VIP pass, because it would show that they are working together.
Yeah, they don't need to do that. Nicole Franzel is really well insulated right now with the Cody group, and she has, you know, there was a little bit of Cody kind of being like, you're hanging out with Ian a little too much. People are going to start to talk, like, I'm wondering what's going on, that sort of thing. Nicole Franzel doesn't need to do that. And, I mean, no one's really targeting Ian right now, so he kind of doesn't need to do that either to give the other one the safety suite right now. Of course, things could change, like, while we're recording this. I mean, this game changes so fast. But there's no real reason to plan that far ahead with the safety suite at this point.
Not yet, anyway. I think they will be in trouble. I don't know if they're going to be in trouble this coming week. It all depends on scenarios, and there's a lot of time left. But I think for now, they would maybe be okay. Maybe Nicole F would actually be in more danger than Ian, but it's complicated at this point.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so we did see that Janelle and Danny had that talk. But then Danny and Davon also had a talk where they were talking about how dangerous Kaser and Janelle are. So where is Danny really lying in this whole thing with Janelle? Like, it feels like she's mostly got her 1 foot over in with sort of Cody's group, but she does have some kind of foot over here. Her game is getting very confusing. Like, where are you landing?
We need a couple of diary rooms from Danny to get a sense of it. Like, there is a part of it that feels like Danny may be playing the best game right now, because she does get information from so many different people, and it seems like so many people really, really want to work with her. But she could get found out. This is a very dangerous game that she is playing, and she's got to kind of make sure that she appeases all these different people, but sooner or later, these people could all talk. Like, what if, Dave Vaughn and Janelle ended up talking, and it's like Danny may be sort of intonating different things to each one of them. That's not great.
The good thing that she's doing is she's not necessarily, like, doing what Tyler was doing, which was like, yeah, you and me. Oh, you and me? Oh, yes, you and me as well. So she's not really doing that. She's just sort of like this popular kid that's popular with everybody, and she's not promising really anybody anything, but she's making everybody feel like she's part of the crew, which is a good place to be, because then she can walk that back. She can say, I never promised you anything. I like hanging out with you. We had some good convos, but I didn't promise you anything.
And that is the honest truth about the Davon and Danny relationship, because it seems like, they may want to work together, that they've got something going, but, they don't have a name to it. They don't have, a specific, super specific agreement. But the one last thing on Davon, because let's bring it all back to Nicole A. and Janelle here at the very end. Davon, she hasn't spilled on her entire Nicole Anthony conversation about Janelle. So Davon is doing what we would believe to be smart here, in that she is keeping information, because this is information that she might need down the road if, say, she wants to have an opportunity to get rid of Janelle, or she needs to just throw somebody under the bus. Good on you, Davon. You don't need to create a mess right now. Just take your time.
Davon is in such a sweet spot, and she's kind of in that sweet spot that Danny's in too, except that she has made a couple of, like, her and Baylor, like, yeah, you and me kind of thing, but she hasn't done that with everybody. But everybody seems to want to have a piece of Davon, and I think, this is my theory, is that people know how popular she is outside the house. And for me, I've said this before, I would hitch my wagon to Davon for sure, because if America has a vote to give a secret power or something that's, positive into the game, she's a good candidate that's probably going to get that power. So it makes sense that people are kind of like, hey, yeah, let's all kind of work with Davon or talk to Davon. And she's been really smart by keeping this information that she's gathering from all these different sides to then decide what she wants to do with it later, which is what Nicole Anthony should have done with this information from Janelle. Just hold on to it.
That's the
until you need it.
It is a marathon.
Oh,
Nicole Anthony just sprinted to the fence. Just take your time. You got to save some oxygen here. But okay, well, we will wrap this up. We will say farewell to day 7, but for now, where are you guys at with Big Brother 22 All-Stars? I mean, it does seem as though Keisha's probably going. She's not really doing a whole lot still, but give us your thoughts in the comments, and if you do like this video, give us a like, subscribe. Support us further. Check those links to the store, our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.